can't help you with your stock portfolio. I can't help you with gas prices, but I can sit here with my partner in crime, Johnny Dollar, for the next 60 minutes, and we're going to talk to you about what's happening out there in the world of sports. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. DLB is in the house.
How everybody doing? How everybody doing? How you doing tonight, Joe?
Man, I'm excellent.
All right.
Excellent,
all right.
excellent.
Nice
excellent.
day out, you know.
Man, can you believe the weather?
It's beautiful, man.
It's a beautiful thing.
We haven't got this in the summertime, so let's enjoy what we got.
We're going to have to.
And in the meantime, in between time, what you got?
Man, what I got, man, we got a host of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Fighting Illini. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs. We're going to talk about boxing.
Did they clinch it? Cubs clinch it already?
This weekend, Sunday.
You think?
Sunday. That's when the party. They popping champagne down there in St. Louis, and they got tears flowing at the same time.
And no better place
than St. Louis. There you go. Rubbed it in their face. Now, Stat Girl 2.8, she's still on a hiatus doing her thing. So we got Stat Girl Light doing her thing. G.I. Jane in his house. What's going on?
Got her hair done too. Look at that.
Flowing.
It's, you know, it's like up there. I mean, she got it. I mean, it's right there too.
How long does that take?
You're going to the club after the show, ain't you? You're going to the club after the show, ain't you?
Yep. Look, yeah. she got on a chairway T-shirt.
Yeah.
When she take the T-shirt off, the outfit's right up under there.
We do have to get her a Tell Like It Is shirt, though.
Oh, Joe. We will.
Yeah, we got to take care of that.
Now, what color did you say you want? An orange?
I want green. Since I can only have orange or blue.
Yeah, we can't go green now. We orange and blue.
The only thing go green is for grocery shopping.
You know, let's say Patrick's there or something. Yeah.
Right. But we ain't going no green or Tell Like It Is.
Come on now.
Right. Well, Big Jason's in the back, flipping the switches and running the show for us. Me and DLB gonna sit here and talk.
We're gonna hold it down now.
We gonna hold it down
it's like reminiscing. You never realize first one the chef like I'm kind of like tearing a bit.
Wait, hold on now.
This reminds me of the first show, but let's get to sports, man. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah,
come on,
I
man.
Say,
let's get to sports.
You got a little too emotional.
Yeah, I did. I got a little feminine.
Right, yeah.
Let's get to the show, man.
We're gonna get to the show. Fighting Illini non-conference schedule is over. They played 3 games: Missouri, EIU. LUL, Raging K, whatever alphabet soup you want to throw on out there.
Whoever they played, it was a close one.
All right, and now the non-conference schedule is over. My first question to you, jumping straight out the chute, the orange and blue, did they look like what you'd expect they were going to look like non-conference?
Well, no. To be honest with you, no. They started off okay. They started pretty good, but you know, just like we talked about, man. When you a Division I school going to, you know, you got a little small school coming to your home court, your crib, your front room, your living room, your garage, or whatever the case might be, and they disrespecting you because that's what a team does when you come into our big house. This is our big house over here over in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So when they come there, you got to let them know, look here, y'all some kids. We grown men, so we go ahead and hit you in the mouth. And it didn't happen like that. It really, I think if that game had like 5 more minutes, we might have been talking, you know, something else.
Well, I will say this, Louisiana Lafayette did come in here and play some inspired football. On the Illinois side, things that look good. Brett Miller and Vontae Davis both had 13 tackles in that game. They're trying to step up and be leaders on the defensive side along with Martez Wilson. On the offensive side, Daniel Dufresne ran for a career high 126 yards and got his first touchdown reception in that game with a nice catch and run. Strengths, weaknesses, you know, we talking about the Fighting Illini. Right now, they played 3 games, trying to figure out, going into the Big Ten schedule, they got to bye tomorrow so they can chill and ice down all them injuries and get the muscles ready and relax. We want to figure out what's going to happen going into the Big Ten conference schedule in terms of what are the strengths that you see out of this non-conference schedule that they play.
Well, I think their strengths is got a little bit better. I think the running game look good. You know, I think their weaknesses are they really got to be consistent on the passing game, man. You know, a lot of teams when they come to play Illinois, they look at Juice as, you know, run first, pass second type of quarterback, which is cool. Mm-hmm. But when you do pass, you got to be consistent. When you do pass, you got to make sure you hit your target. And I think you know, they got to deal with some of their wide receivers a little bit better. What's his name?
Chris Duvall,
Aurelius Ben. I mean, you got to use somebody you got to have a Randy Moss. You know what I mean?
Right.
In which is Aurelius Ben. So you got to use him to get what you got to have. You got to use him to go to the other person. You got to tease the defense, man. You got to let them know this is our man, but we're gonna go somewhere else.
Right. Well, the UPTV Channel 6 telling like it is. Me and Johnny Dollar, old school style, sitting here G.I. Jane, Stat Girl Light is sitting back there doing nails, got her tearaway T-shirt, ready to go out as soon as you go over to the park in after we leave here. They got a.
Working.
Oh, you work at security. That's just gonna get you in the door. That
That what
T-shirt-
she doing?
Right. As soon as she get in there, she ain't guarding nothing but dollar bills. Hey, and she's slinging them up. You gonna make it rain? No. Oh, you
Don't do that. Don't
I
do
don't
that.
do that. I don't do that.
I believe you don't.
Well, speaking of making it rain, the Fighting Illini offense makes it rain in the fact that they're third in the Big Ten in scoring with an average of about 36 points a game, and then in terms of total offense, they're second in the Big Ten. So strength-wise, as Dollar Bill talking about, they're getting the ball thrown around the field quite well. Juice did a great job against Missouri throwing the ball, and then on the rushing side, he did a great job against Eastern Illinois with about a $174 and a couple of touchdowns there. So we know that's really going to be the strength of this team. The weakness of this team, which should be a main concern going into our first Big Ten game in Happy Valley, is the defense. The rush defense is ranked 10th in the Big Ten. Illinois is giving up 163 yards a game on the rush defense. We talked about this when we watched that Missouri game. And then it continued on with Eastern Illinois. One of the guys went for 183 yards in that game. And then Louisiana Lafayette. You're not expecting those type of teams, like you said, to come into that big house here.
This is our big house.
Right.
Whatever they call it, this is our big house. And it just goes back to Joe, when you got to have confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not also for your team, but you got to have confidence in yourself in the position you play in.
Right.
If I'm linebacker, if I'm the right end or the nose guard, I'm saying to myself, you're not coming through this way. You better pick dude or pick other dude, but you ain't coming through this way.
Yeah, and I think before the season started, if you asked anybody what Illinois' strength was, they would have assumed it was going to be the defensive line. Josh Brent, Will Davis, Derek Walker, those guys coming back. Everybody thought that with the loss of a Jay Lehman, maybe a linebacker core would be a little weak. But Martez Williams.
Do you hang
Wilson-
around with all these guys because you know these names pretty good. I mean, what's going on, man?
You know what it is, man? You know
You hanging out with these guys.
I hang out with them guys, but you know what I think what it is? You know what it is? I stand in the mirror and just practice.
Come on, man.
When I'm in the morning when I'm getting dressed, I got the picture, the roster on the mirror, and I'm getting my thing together.
Boy.
So that's all it is.
Man,
But yeah, them guys, like I said, I throw the names out there for
you drop your name, call him.
Now, DeRay Hicks, he got moved he played safety one game. He's going back to corner. Bo Flowers is going to get back in there. They're going to need these guys to really step their game up because in a week, they go to Happy Valley.
It's time to go to work, man.
It's time to go to work. September
time to go to work.
27th, they take on the Penn State.
It's time to go to work, man.
And my question is, with the Big Ten now, we watched Ohio State last week
They don't look that good.
go out to
They don't look that good. And I'm not just talking
Los
about
Angeles and get crushed by
And
USC.
I'm not just talking about that game. I'm talking about
Youngstown State.
Yeah.
They played
Yeah.
when they played Ohio University. They was losing.
Yeah.
Third quarter. So with that being said, Ohio State not looking good. And let me just throw something out that a lot of people don't even know about Ohio State. Do you know right now they're second to last in the Big Ten in scoring offense?
I do now.
You know it now.
I know now.
Guess who's last?
Who?
Michigan.
I know that now. And I believe it.
Because I told you. And that's how we do things. I'll tell it like it is.
Tell it like it is.
The two teams that you would have thought would be your big time scorers, because they've been the perennial powers in the Big Ten, Ohio State and Michigan, are bottom feeders right now when it comes to scoring. Guess who's the number one scoring team in all of the Big Ten?
Tell me.
Penn State.
Penn State.
Guess how many points they average?
How's that?
55, double nickels.
But tell us, why are they the highest scoring team in the Big Ten? What's going on?
What's going on is they got a plethora of wide receivers.
And I don't know about plethora. Okay, just keep it straight with me. Now you saying they got a plethora of wide receivers? I mean, are they that good? Are they like the USC type of wide receivers?
Well, I might say USC light. They ain't like USC, but they is USC light.
Okay.
Derek Williams, one of the receivers that came out, he was the most ballyhooed receiver to go to Penn State about 3-4 years ago. He's a senior. These guys are scoring at, like I said, 55.5 points a game. They just got through crushing Syracuse, and now they're going to get Temple over the weekend. They're not taking – here's the thing. Penn State, no bye week for them in terms of coming up against this Illinois game.
Right.
They play tomorrow against Temple. Joe Pa, 81 years old, still running, still got the coach shoes
And
on.
so advantages to who? Advantages to Illinois, I say, because they got time to study these cats.
Okay.
They got time to study these cats, and this is when you should have somebody what they said they did to Sarah Palin fly up to Penn State and watch them, see what they doing, see what's going on, and then report back to the boss man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think advantage goes to Illinois on this, but I think Illinois also they remind me of Michael Jordan back in the Bulls in the '90s. You play as good as your competition.
Okay.
I believe Illinois is going to pick it up a little bit when they do play Penn State. I believe that the defense is going to be more aggressive because it's time to clock in now. It's time to go to work. So I think Illinois is going to surprise a lot of people next week. I really do.
Well, UPTV Channel 6, tell like it is, 328-8280.
Are we having phone problems?
If you want to give us a call, I don't know if we got phone problems.
Hey,
I think they just hung up on me.
Oh,
They just hung up on you.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Did you use your phone voice?
Or the club voice. Okay, forget it.
I use
All
the
right.
sexy phone voice.
Oh, wow.
That's what I hung up.
Wow. Okay. Wrong number. Sorry.
Use your own voice.
Okay.
I mean, it's a sports show. This ain't
Yeah.
a nightclub. Can you buy me a drink?
Yeah.
Who is this? Click. See, wife was probably standing right behind the dude when he come, because he was sitting there looking at the TV, and she said, "Who you calling?" Oh, that would tell like this, baby. Click. Hung up.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
Yeah. Next time, no club voice. Sports voice. Got it?
Okay.
Whatever. Going back to the Big Ten. Now, we talked about Penn State, 55 points a game.
Yep.
Running all everybody in the Big Ten. Other teams that Illinois got to worry about that are on the schedule. Wisconsin. Guess who's right behind Penn State when it comes to rushing offense? Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Like you said, who gonna tell you? I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, you gonna tell me.
Who gonna tell you? I'm gonna tell
You
you.
gonna tell me now.
Now, Wisconsin's rushing the ball, and in 3 games that they've played, they've ran for 716 yards for the season in 3 games, right behind Penn State, who's ran for about 790. So both those teams, Wisconsin with P.J. Hill, these guys are putting up big numbers. And the reason why I bring this up, we talked earlier about the weaknesses at Illinois, and it's the rush defense.
And so if they tighten up on that, then you said they may have a chance.
They may have a
I
shot
agree.
in the Big Ten.
I agree, and you got to, man.
The schedule that Illinois also has is not as favorable as we had last year because the big games, are on the road this year as opposed to home. Last year, we got the likes of Penn State, Wisconsin, and Michigan here over there at Memorial Stadium. Well, things are flipped. This year, we go on the road. We go to Happy Valley on September 27th. Then we go to the Big House. Even though Michigan's not looking that good non-conference, it's still still 110,000.
And you never know. You can have a good day.
That's it.
But, Joe, it's just like I'm looking at it like this. I know, the old saying is the players play the game and they determine the outcome.
Right.
But it's just like we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. If they tighten up on what? They run defense.
Right.
So I believe a little of that, in fact, more than a little of that goes back onto the coaches. You got to look at that film and you got to see where's your weaknesses at on that run defense.
Right.
You got to look at that film and say, okay, he's not doing his job. He's not doing his job where he can do this. I mean, the coaches got to really do some brainstorming and figure out what's going on.
Well, I agree with you on that because the coach's job is to do what? Put a player in
the right position
to make the play.
That's right.
Now, if the coach puts you in the right position, then you don't make the play. Now it's time to
Shake it up, man.
shake it up, get somebody else in
You
there to
got
make
to.
the play. But I think right now, I agree with you. Coaching staff got to look at this and say, are we putting them in the right position to make the play?
Or do we got the right people out there? Maybe you have to get some freshmen or sophomores out there to fill these cats' positions. Are these seniors and juniors hungry enough to do the job?
Right, and you bring up a true freshman, Corey Leggett. He's going to get some time. He started at defensive tackle and defensive end, and he was designed to back up Will Davis, but he's already hit the field. You got another guy like Ryan Palmer. He had broke a small bone in his foot, so that really kind of hurts them on that defensive line. But these are the guys that you mentioned in terms of getting somebody else in there, infusing a little energy. Martez Wilson playing that weak side linebacker
Right.
like LT. Maybe we might start seeing him come off the defensive end, trying to put a little pressure on the quarterback. They've got to do something, as you said, to shake this up if they're going to challenge for that top spot. The other thing that you talk about in terms of the schedule is that for the month of October, you get Minnesota, Indiana here, sandwiched in between games at Michigan, and then you go back to Wisconsin on October 25th. So you can't have any letdowns. And Indiana with Kellen Lewis, that's a scary team right there, because Kellen Lewis is just like Juice Williams in the fact that he's a triple threat with that football under center. So there are some teams out there, I don't want to call them landmines. You know, Minnesota, Tim Brewster just got up there last year. They're trying to get their system put in place, but he's going to have them playing at a high energy and a high level of football because Tim Brewster, former U of I tight end back in the day when Mike White was coach here, he wants to come back and beat his old alma mater. You know, so we've got to watch out for that. So that's going to be the month of September and October going into the Big Ten schedule. We want to know what you think. Give us a hit, 328-8280.
Hit them up.
328-8280. Stat Girl, she's back there chilling. She knows she's looking at the clock. She's like, ooh, 43 more minutes, then I can get on down the corner of the Park Inn. Stripper man. You know, when I was young, I used to have relations, and we would have.
Yeah.
See, that didn't call. I talked up the phone line.
And they probably call and ask us what time, whatever. Come on, Joe.
Right. Well, you know, we talk Fighting Illini football here. We done put all the information out there. Folks want to talk to us about it, they can give us a hit. But we need to talk about the big boys. The NFL.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Before we go that, we can go to the phone line. 328-8280. Call and tell us your name, where you calling from, tell it like it is.
My name is Big Will. I'm from Payne.
What's going on, Big Will?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I think Illinois needs to keep an eye on Penn State, man. They're going to have to, really work the offense, defense. It's going to be a tough game next week.
Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier, the fact that Penn State is averaging 55 points a game, and in the Big Ten, they're leading the conference in scoring, rush offense, and pass offense, and they run that same type of spread offense that we run here. So you know how tough it is to defend that spread, and we've been having some trouble. You think back to that first game we played Missouri, and Missouri dropped, what was that, 52 on us?
Yeah.
You know, and Penn State's dropping 55 a game, and we're going to their place. This is not like the Missouri game on a neutral site. So we got to get out there, and Dollar said it best. We got to go hit somebody in the mouth.
But Big Will, let me ask you this. Now, you know, your name is Big Will. You sound like you got an athlete voice, and you know, you sound like an athlete. He's Big Joe. He's just Big Joe. He ain't no athlete. But what do you think Illinois has to do, man, to come up on top of Penn State? What do you think they got to do as far as defense and all? What do you think? Put yourself either in a player's position, put you in the player's mind, or the coach's position, or the coach's mind. What do Illinois have to do to come up on top of Penn State?
Just have heart, man. That's all you need.
That's
heart.
That's right. That's right. It's just like everybody got the same amount of players. What is it, 11 on each side?
Right.
So you got to look at the position that other person, man, you cannot do nothing with me. And that's how, just like you said, you got to have heart, man.
Yeah,
you got to have the big wheel. You got to, hit him in the mouth.
Well, Big Will, before we let you go, why don't you give us real quick, what do you think the score is going to be, Illinois, Penn State, a week from tomorrow?
I want to say like 34-27.
34-27?
Who's winning?
Penn State.
Penn State? Okay.
Hey, it's called Tell It Like It Is.
But
so
you know, hey,
tell it like it is.
I got to keep it real.
But look, hey, now Will, I'm gonna tell you something. Now make sure you call back. I ain't gonna be here next week, but good call back next week, because my prediction is Illinois is gonna surprise a lot of people next week, because I believe they're gonna come out with what you say, a little heart, a little determination, because there's cats around here thinking they can't handle their business, and I believe you're gonna see a total different defense.
I think if they can get past Penn State, they might have a chance against Michigan.
Oh, Michigan's gonna be easy. You can't not. I mean, come on.
We really need to win off of Michigan.
For real.
Well,
For real.
I tell you what, I know it sounds like an old cliche, but you got to take one game at a time.
That's
you
right.
You got to play Penn State.
And Illinois
before you
gonna start with Penn State. Believe me.
Okay, well,
Penn State gonna get some knots out the head.
Okay, well, like I said, we just need to make sure we take care of the first one before we start eating. It's just like when you eat.
It's gonna happen.
You eat the first sandwich
I
before
eat
you
quick.
eat the second sandwich.
Well, I eat quick.
Yeah, I know. Well, Big Will, we appreciate your call.
Right on, man.
Hit us next week.
Good night.
All right,
on.
man.
And I eat. I don't mess around with it. I eat. I mean, that's why I just eat.
But wait a
my
minute,
ass.
before you even talk about eating, First thing you gotta remember, man, you say I'm Big Joe, but I ain't no athlete. I got pictures.
I got
pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, I have recent pictures, but I got pictures right now of, black and white, old tight shorts, So I don't even want to hear that.
Man, I'm picturing that. I don't even.
You don't want to see it?
No, come on, man.
Man, the hair was tight too.
Man,
Unless you actually have some video, we can do
All
other
right.
pictures.
Why don't you just go back to whatever you was doing over
Right.
there? See, because now you done jumped into grown folks' business.
And you know what they say? If you laugh, you in it.
Right.
So you better watch that.
Right.
Okay.
She's laughing.
Let's get
You
to
in
the
it.
big cats.
Yeah, we're going to get to the big cats. Because fighting line, as we just talked about, Big Will pointed out, big game coming up, Penn State. We'll talk more about that next Friday. But we're going to go into the N and F and L.
Now I know there's a lot of NFL fans out there, so hit these phone lines up. Joe, I don't know nothing. Give them the number. Hit these phone lines up.
328-8280. I know you NFL fans sitting there
Talk
watching,
about it.
And now you want to talk about, first thing we got to do, we got to recap week 2 because there was a couple games on the docket. First, I'm going to start with my Minnesota Vikings. And my Minnesota Vikings, they lost to Green Bay Packers week 1. Week 2, they're going back home to Tavares Jackson. Didn't play very good in Green Bay. Thought he'd bounce back when they go home. Not.
Didn't happen.
18-15, Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts come back after being down 9-0 at halftime.
Didn't
They were
happen.
down 15-0 in the third quarter, and the wheels fell off in Minnesota. Adrian Peterson ran for 160 plus, but never got in the end zone. And the reason why I didn't get in the end zone is because Indianapolis, just like every other team, is putting 8, sometimes 9 guys in the box. You would think that a professional quarterback would be able to cut up 2 defensive backs.
You should.
You're only playing against 2 defense.
But do you think the coach put him in a position to make himself successful? Do you think the coach made the right calls to make Tavares Jackson look like Tavares Jackson, or who are you blaming this on?
Well, I'm gonna tell you who I'm blaming it on. I'm blaming it on the organization. I'm not blaming it on him. I'll tell you why I'm blaming it on the organization. Because you drafted this guy in 2006 in the 2nd round. So that means you scouted him. You saw him work out for you, saw him do all the things that every other team does with all these players, combine and stuff like that. He set the bench for 2006. He played the last 3 games of the season. You got to see a little bit of him there. He went through all the mini camps,
Yep.
OTAs,
Yep.
played last year. You got to see him last year.
Yep.
Now you come into this year. So he's been under the wing for 3 entire seasons. And now he gets out there, and in the first half of the Green Bay game, he completes 2 passes for 7 yards. Against the Colts, 2 passes for 16 yards. That's ridiculous. That is, give me Rex Grossman. Yeah, you heard me say it. Give me Rex Grossman.
No, wow.
Give me Rex
Well,
Grossman.
you can
Good.
you can have Orton.
No, I don't want Orton.
You can have Orton.
I don't want to have Orton. But Minnesota, that's what happened in week 2. Also, talk about Orton. Talk about the Bears. The Bears, after an upset victory over Indianapolis in week 1, went on the road again to Carolina and was doing their thing, 17-3, 2-touchdown lead over the Carolina Panthers. And then guess what happened? A guy named Chris Harris, who used to play for the Bears, and the Bears let him go because they thought they had a better safety than Adam Archuleta, and he ain't even in the league now.
You know.
I ought to call him Adam Avocado,
But-
something like that.
I mean,
Chris Harris bites you on the butt.
I mean, but I ain't gonna blame it on Chris Harris biting Bears in the butt flu. That was Bears' game to win, man. You gotta look at the quarterback position. I don't care how defense can't hold them every single game. The Big O got to do something. Offense got to do something. You look at Orton. He only passed for 149 yards, 59%. But if you saw the game, he missed a lot of open passes, man. That should have been nothing but butter.
Right. You're
Nothing
right.
but butter.
I mean, he had Marty Booker Marty Booker looked like a 7-Eleven. He was so wide open. But what happened? He overthrew him. Then, which I'm not even a bit close to being a Bears fan, but somebody needs to explain this to me. On 3rd and 1. Why are you throwing a hitch route on 3rd and 1 when the strength of your offense is your running attack? Then you come back on 4th and 1.
And then you give it to who?
Jason McKee.
Who got only 17 yards that game. Now, Forte got rushed for 192 yards.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that's one of the most elusive rookies you know, in the NFL that, you know, I think he fits Bears good. They just got to get a quarterback to fit Forte.
Now, you know what's interesting? I'm glad you brought up Forte. 6'2", 220 pounds, runs like the wind, and that's the same offensive line that was blocking last year for Cedric Benson. Now, remember how everybody said the offensive line was horrible and they need to get a new guy here and a new guy there, etc. You come in with the same offensive line this year.
But what's the difference? It's a
The back.
different kind of runner.
That's it.
Different kind of runner, man.
The holes may not be there, but for that long,
Yeah.
but because he runs that fast,
And he got good vision.
that's it.
It's all about vision. The difference between him and Benson was Forte got vision to where Benson, he wants to just run at you.
Well, Benson's problem with his vision is he couldn't even see the police when he was driving a boat.
You know, so if you can't run from the police on the water,
Then you ain't gonna run from nobody trying to tackle you on the football field. So,
You know, so-
that's why nobody picked up Benson, because like you said, if he can't run from the police, he can't run from nobody.
I concur.
He done got caught on water and on land.
I concur.
We need to call him Paul Revere.
I concur.
Not. But back to the Bears. 4th down, Jason McKee, you run it, lose the game 2017. Now you're gonna come back home, open up the stadium with your 3rd game of the season. You're gonna take on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which takes us right into week 3. That's the first game we're gonna talk about. Tampa Bay, Chicago. The Bears are 1-1 in the NFC North. We just talked about what happened down there in Carolina. They get to get their first game at home. Tampa Bay comes in with Brian Griese, who was the quarterback last year for the Bears, running the offense. The Bears are about a 3-point favorite at home. Dollar Bill, I know this is your squad. I'm gonna let you take this. Bears, Tampa Bay.
Well, I'm gonna go with Bears, not because I'm a Bear fan, but I do believe in Bears defense. But I believe this here is like I believe Lovey's on what you call a real tightrope. You know, he's on the edge of the diving board, for say. If Lovey got to pull the string on Orton if Orton doesn't do his job. You know, win or lose. I mean, if Bears win because of the defense,
Right.
congratulations, Chicago. But he still has to pull the string as far as Orton, because as of right now, Orton, his consistency is not there, and he's not getting it done in that position for the Chicago Bears. If he had him, Bears have been 2-0 right now, sitting pretty.
Does the fact that Brian Griese played in the Bears organization for 2 years, and the fact that he was out there with this offense, obviously wasn't out there with Matt Forte and these receivers, but he was under Ron Turner's tutelage, understanding the offensive scheme and being able to see the defense. Is that going to give Tampa Bay an advantage in terms of the play calling that the Bears are going to run against their defense?
Well, I think it's still. This is where it goes back to the coaches. What you just said. The coaches are thinking the same thing. We're going to switch something up, which they should. Okay, we're not going to do this because, you know, Grease knows what we did. He knows what the positions are. We're going to change you know how you do, change your scheme up a little bit.
Right.
We're going to run the same defensive play, but we're going to change where everybody's located. They're going to switch everything up to where it probably confused Brian Griese. So, I mean, you know, you that's what the coach is getting paid the money for. You know, you got to sit together, let the players brainstorm. Okay, we got a quarterback coming against us Sunday that practiced with us, played for us, read our playbook, know the playbook.
Right.
So let's go ahead and, you know, switch this up a little bit.
Well, with all that being said, Tampa, Chicago Bears, give me the winner and give me the score.
Well, I'm thinking it's gonna be a close game. I'm saying I'm gonna go 2017 Chicago. You know, Bears basically, because their offense is so weak, they're a field goal kicking team. They got one of the best field goal kickers in the league, and I think they're gonna win by field goal.
I think you're correct on that. I hate to say it, but it's got to be true in the fact that I think Tampa Bay, John Gruden has really messed up continuity down there. Jeff Garcia started the season off as starting quarterback, had a minor ankle injury, and he pulled him out and didn't let him start last week. And now they tried to put Jeff Garcia on the market, and there's no takers right now because he's 37 years old. I still don't understand why Minnesota didn't go after him, but that's another story. The Brian Griese experiment didn't work in Chicago. It's not going to work in Tampa. I think the return of Mike Brown is the difference in the Bears' defense this year. Mike Brown is like a quarterback on the defensive side in terms of the signal calling and the fact they're going to keep him off the line of scrimmage. He used to come up so much for run support. That's how he was getting injured all these years. But now that they keep him back in that two-deep zone, I think Mike Brown will do his thing. The Bears may not be 20-17, maybe 17-14, but it'll be a low-scoring affair. I think the Bears will win the game, which takes us to our second game, Minnesota. As I talked about before, all kinds of trouble on the offensive side with the quarterback. Tuesday they made a change. Gus Frerotte is going to come in for Tavares Jackson. And then we find out that Adrian Peterson's got a hamstring problem, and he may not even touch the carpet come Sunday. Carolina Panthers come in 2-0, beat San Diego, and beat the Bears in 2 fourth-quarter comebacks. And now they get Steve, I beat you up if you look at me wrong, Smith, coming back on the offensive side. Dollar Bill, Minnesota Vikings, 0-2. They're already desperate. The season just started. And the Carolina Panthers, talk about it.
Well, I'm about to go Carolina, not because of, of the quarterback change. I'm going because of the best little big man in football, Steve Smith. And he can just, Jake Delhomme, I know he got that extra weapon. Mm-hmm. And Steve Smith is a one-man wrecking crew, man.
Well,
And I believe, I don't know if quarterback's the Minnesota's answer. I just think how we look at sometimes say, well, why does the coaches got to be at fault?
Right.
Because of the team's negativity or their production. But sometimes it is the coaches. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna just go ahead and give Carolina the nod. I'm gonna say I think Carolina's gonna have a big game. I think Steve Smith's gonna have a big game. I'm gonna say 35-15, 35-20.
35-20 Carolina. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you, not because I'm a homer, but because I think the change at quarterback may do a few things. Number one, I think it's going to give the defense an opportunity to stay off the field a little bit. Against the Colts, the Minnesota Vikings had 4 3-and-outs in the second half. Mm-hmm. That defense was on the field entirely too long, and you can't be on the field that long. I don't care if it's Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Archie Manning, or Archie from Archie and the Dales. I don't care who the quarterback is. You can't be on the field that long. With Gus Frerotte coming in, I think that'll extend the play on the offensive side. Will it put a touchdown on the board? It remains to be seen. Bernard Berrian, they paid him a whole lot of money to come in there and stretch the field because they had that running game. Let's see if Gus Frerotte can get the ball downfield to him, because Tavares Jackson couldn't do it. He's the 6th Jackson. Joe Jackson should have beat him back just like he used to beat Michael, and maybe he'd be a better quarterback. With that being said, I'm going Minnesota 21, Carolina 17.
Tavares Jackson's mom would have loved you because, she's all on ESPN today. She's making a big statement. They ain't giving her baby a chance to expand. And it's getting pretty tough when they start interviewing the kids' mamas.
Now, you know what? Before we go into the other game, that's what I want to ask you about. Last week, Vince Young running around talking about they going to commit suicide, and who they interviewed? His mama.
His mama.
Tavares Jackson, he get benched.
Mama.
Now his mama talking. What in the world is going on with these athletes where here it is, you got grown men breaking down, getting all emotional, and then their mama's got to come on TV and rescue them.
But the killing part is, are the reporters going to their parents' house or the mama coming down to the reporter? I need to say something about,
how does mama know to go tell somebody? Unless mama is living in the house, like Vince Young mama live in the house.
Or else she told Tavares, said, look, give me the number of the reporter, baby, because I want to talk, because this is in bold.
They can't be talking about my baby like that.
But, hey, yes.
Yeah, see, just a sign of our society.
Okay.
And then they want them to be men. Ooh, mama! That's all you hear. Yeah. I'm waiting for somebody to yell Ricky like we watching Boys in the Hood or something. This don't make no sense.
I don't know.
Another game going on, big game. The Dallas Cowboys played an exciting game Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. It by far has got to be one of the best pro football games in the regular season I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They put up 41 points. Unfortunately for the Cowboy defense, they gave up 37 points. They looked real bad on the pass defense as Donovan McNabb sat back there and picked them apart. But in the end, when they needed a big play, they shut McNabb down, and they were able to go on to get a victory. And T.O., I'm going to tell you right now, T.O. is looking like a true superstar.
You can hate him or you can love him, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I loves me some T.O.
You can hate him or love him, but, you'll never hear no problem out of T.O. off the field. Nope. He may show his butt a little bit, on the field, whatever, but I think he is a good example. He's a good role model. And when he puts on that uniform and that helmet, dude is nothing but business.
He gives you 110%. You got Ocho Cinco doing his thing in Cincinnati, but he's so worried about what name is on the back of his jersey.
He's not even concentrating on football.
We even got to see the young guy, Deshaun Jackson from Philadelphia, catch a 60-some yard pass and forgot he had one more yard to go to get in the end
But
zone.
that won't happen no more.
T.O. will give it to you between the lines. He won't showboat till after the job is done. And a lot of people don't give T.O. credit for that. They always ride him and down him.
And you notice the cameraman's always on him when let's say something goes wrong on the, Dallas goes 3 and out, or and then they're gonna first thing they do, cameraman's on T.O. to see if he's gonna cuss out the quarterback or the offensive callers. It's just.
But you know what's funny about that? When Troy Aikman was a Dallas Cowboy and they had some problems and go 3 and out and something like that, they'd put the camera on Troy Aikman and he'd be yelling at his offensive linemen or skill position players or even yelling at a coach or
But
coordinator.
as far as it went.
And what would they say? Oh, Troy, that's the fire. He's a competitor, etc.
Yeah, you love to see that.
You love to see that. He's showing true leadership. Then you get a guy like T.O. does the same exact thing. And what do they say?
Hey.
Oh, he's
a
selfish.
troublemaker.
He's a troublemaker. He's selfish.
He
He don't think
doesn't
about
fit with the program.
He just wants to ball himself. Rah, rah, rah.
But I think what T.O. just let him know is, and it just goes back to what Big Will just called, it's all about heart. T.O. knows for a fact there is nobody in the NFL that can hold him.
Right?
I don't care what play it is. I don't care what it is. You can put 2 people on him, and that's what he's telling. Man, they can't hold me. They can't do. Just throw me the ball.
Right. And talking about throwing the ball, he's getting ready to go up against 2 of the top defensive quarters in all the NFL. Al Harris on one side, Charles Woodson on the other side, as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. First of all, they having a fire sale on number 4 jerseys up there because number 12 has come in and taken them by storm.
Looking good, man.
Aaron Rodgers throwing at a 70% clip. He went up to Detroit last week and made the Motown City his. Kwame Brown is not the mayor no more.
No.
Aaron Rodgers is the mayor of Detroit. And they lit up Detroit for 48 points. Dallas, as I said, let Donovan McNabb throw the ball all over the field. And now they going to Lambeau on the road. This is going to be a shootout.
And I'm gonna still go with Dallas. If the weather was a little colder, I'd probably go with Green Bay, but I'm gonna go with Dallas just because Romo got something to prove this year. I believe if Romo don't do his job this year, he might be on the hot seat. But Romo knows that hey, I got the I got the right equipment.
Right.
I got the people that I need. It's just like Chicago Cubs. It's Dallas's year. It's do or die for Dallas, or else they're gonna get shook up.
Yeah. So you're going with Dallas Cowboys?
I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Well, I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers in this one, only because of the home field. I still think T.O. is gonna get in the end zone at least once, and maybe twice the way he's already started the season off. I think the difference in the game is gonna be Ryan Grant running the football for the Green Bay Packers in the second half. I think that Aaron Rodgers can do enough throwing the ball. I think their defense can do enough slowing down the Cowboys. I think Ryan Grant will be the X factor, and I'm looking for the Packers to win in a close one. You can flip a coin on this game, but I think Green Bay, just due to the fact they're in Lambeau, may pull this game out.
I think it's gonna be a shootout, regardless.
The other thing is, this may be your preview for your NFC Championship game already in Week 3. The way the games are going.
Well,
now.
they interviewed Brett Favre and they, asked him. He goes, "Hey, look, I've been doing this for 17 seasons."
Right.
He goes, "When he gets to these, the whole year, then come and call me. Tell me how he done at the end of the season. Don't mess with me right now. I'm
We'll
busy."
say, don't talk to him about 2 or 3 weeks. Huh?
Right.
Well, Brett's got a point. And speaking of Brett Favre, they played last week against New England. Matt Castle was the starter for the New England Patriots. And if you would have asked us back in June who's going to have a better starting quarterback, the Jets or the Patriots, everybody would have said the Patriots. Well, we all know what happened to Tom Brady. He's done. Knee's gone. Matt Castle's in there for the rest of the season. We thought Brett Favre was going to go to New England and do his thing. Didn't happen. Lost
Nope.
19-10.
Nope.
Now, the Jets have to get on a jet, and they got to fly to San Diego, and there's another desperate team out there. San Diego is 0-2.
And they should be 2-0.
They should be 2-0.
They should be 2-0, but that's the way the ball bounces.
They lost in the last seconds against the Carolina Panthers, and then last week by the tight-shirted official, Ed Hockley, inexplicable. He blows the whistle on a fumble and causes an incomplete pass, gives the Denver Broncos another opportunity. Jay Cutler sticks the ball in the end zone, and then one of the most gutsiest calls by a coach in the past few years. Shanahan goes for 2, and they win the game at home. North Turner, 0-2. LT only ran for 22 yards. What's wrong with San Diego? And they got the Jets coming to town. What do you see on that one, Dollar?
Well, I don't think nothing's wrong with San Diego. They're missing their key ingredient on defense. To shake them up, man. But other than that, man, I just think they just need to at the end of the game, you got to pull it out. You know,
Right.
don't leave it up to the referee. You got to do what you do. You just got to, dot your I's and cross your T's.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's happening with San Diego is I think we're seeing the beginning of the end of LT.
Well,
I know that knee, he had the knee problem at the end of the season last year with the AFC Championship game where he couldn't go against New England, and he just does not look 100%. And that was one of the X factors when you played San Diego. You knew LT was going to put $150 to 200 total yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns on the board. And now you're not getting that. And also Antonio Gates, the big toe. He got that old Jim Brown, I'm going to get you sucker bunion throbbing toe going on right now. And that's holding their offensive back. Phillip Rivers, he's still doing a pretty good job, but I agree with you, Sean Merriman, missing him is vital on that defensive side. I'm looking for the Jets to go out to San Diego and upset. Upset San Diego.
even though it's a must-win for both teams, but and San Diego definitely needs to win, but Jets also need to win for Brett Favre's namesake.
Right.
In order to keep his name compared to Aaron Rodgers, he needs to go in San Diego and win, because if he doesn't, the pressure's going to be on Brett, because he's going to get tired of hearing about, Green Bay's winning, New York's not.
Right.
Who made the better? Did Green Bay make a good choice getting rid of you? He's got to win.
Right. I agree. Well, like I said, I'm going with the Jets in this one. Another big game. We talked earlier about Philadelphia and how well they played in Dallas, but, you don't get anything for moral victories, and neither did the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a big L in the column. And now they got the Battle of Pennsylvania, as Pittsburgh is coming into town to take on the Eagles. Pittsburgh's 2-0. Ben Roethlisberger had a separated shoulder, dislocated shoulder bruise. Something is wrong with his shoulder.
Well, the coach said it's just sore. And if whoever's giving you the information, send them to me. That's what the coach said.
Is that what the coach said? Oh, so I apologize to Omar Epps, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, for saying anything wrong about my
That's the
information.
dude said.
Well, they're going up against Jimmy Johnson's zone blitz, and blitz again defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Knowing that Roethlisberger is hurt, watch the Eagles send 8 and 9 guys at a time after him for 2 things. Number one, it'll slow down Willie Parker and the Steelers' run game. And number 2, because of that short shoulder, they want to find out, can he take a hit, or did they give him enough injection?
So what you're saying is we might see Leftwich this game.
We might see Brian Leftwich out there on the field if they come at him the way I think they're going to come. You got to remember, the game is being played in Philadelphia. They playing on that turf.
And Philadelphia, to me, is nothing but 11 bullies on the defensive side, because they hit you, and they hit you hard. And when they get you on the ground, they're going to uppercut you underneath your helmet, hit you in the chin, talk about your mama, your daddy. They are serious, man. They're some hard-hitting, dirty, playing cats.
Now, on the flip side, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the run game, as I said, has been getting the Steelers through their first 2 games. The Houston Texans and Cleveland Browns. They only put 10 points up on the Browns, but it was a good old AFC North slugfest. This game, I don't think, will be any different. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as what Philadelphia just had with the Cowboys. I agree with Dollar. Philly's going to come out and try to bust some chops. Steelers going to try to bring the same type of intensity. In the end, playing in Philadelphia, Brian Westbrook, look for him to do his thing, couple of touchdowns, Philadelphia by 3 in that particular game. Now, we got a couple other games going on. Jacksonville goes to Indianapolis. Jacksonville in the AFC was another one of them sexy picks for the Super Bowl. They started out 0-2 also.
Right.
We talked about Indy. Peyton Manning is now starting to work his way back in to Peyton Manning form. I think that game against the Bears in the first half against the Vikings.
You can see the rust.
You saw rust falling off of him like an old Iron Man.
Which I didn't think that would happen, but you really did. You was right. You was absolutely right. I mean, I told you, I said, I don't think Peyton Manning, he's the kind of quarterback, but he was definitely rusty.
And the timing factor, and he's also found him a new favorite receiver. With Dallas Clark being out and Marvin Harrison still shooting people at car washes.
You wrong, man.
Oh, my fault. Shooting people at
You wrong,
I
man.
shouldn't bring up the car wash.
Dude.
Okay.
Dude.
Gonzalez from the Ohio State Buckeyes, 9 catches, 137 yards last
He's a
week.
little pesky. He's
He like that dude for New England, Wes Welker.
Man, he remind me of Christmas, Illinois, all them little bitty pesky basketball players. He remind me of, he's a little pesky little thing, man.
But he always get open, and he's always catching the ball. And now that Peyton's got somebody like that, He can go underneath to Gonzalez, over the top with Reggie Wayne. That'll open it up for Joseph Adai and Dominic Rhodes. Jacksonville, I don't know. I really don't know. I think last year, everything worked for them. This year, everything's not working for them. I look for Indy to be 2-1 after this game. Jacksonville
I
will be
agree.
0-3.
I believe, Manning, he's like a student on the football field and off the football field. Right now, while we're doing this show, he's in the books or he's in the meeting room or he's in the TV room studying. And I think you're right. Indianapolis is going to come out and have a big blowout game.
Last game we're going to talk about, two more games that we're going to talk about. First of all, the crying game. That's what I'm going to call this one. Vince Young is out. Kerry Collins is in. Tennessee Titans take on the Houston Texans in Tennessee. Tennessee drafted a rookie running back in the first round named Chris Johnson out of East Carolina. And everybody said, Mel Kiper, draft expert and all of them, what is Tennessee doing? Who is this kid? I know he runs a 4.2 40, but that's all he does.
Yeah, but
Now look at him.
But whatever Tennessee does,
Whatever Jeff Fisher does.
whatever, I don't care who they get or who they got. And if you want to talk about an NFL team that have a lot of no names, you got to bring up Tennessee. But in the fourth quarter, if it's close,
They gonna win the game.
they will win the game somehow, some way. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. And Jeff Fisher looks more like a genius every time they pull out a game at the end.
You're exactly right. This particular game, I don't think Jeff Fisher needs to use his brain matter to figure this one out because Houston Texans, that's a bad team. Gary Kubiak, I think, wants to head back to Denver real quick and become the offensive coordinator there again because being a head coach is a little bit different than being the offensive coordinator, and he's finding out the hard way. Houston has no running attack. They have no passing attack, and the defense is suspect. But other than that, they got a real good football team.
But you know what? I'm going to give this game to Houston just because of the situations they've been going through up there. They ain't played in a week, and them cats are hungry.
Right.
And they want to bite somebody's head off.
Well, I tell you what, the only thing in the head they're going to bite off is on some crawdads and some shrimp because Tennessee is going to take this game easy. Look for Chris Johnson to have a big game against the Houston Texans. The last game I want to talk about, what in the world is wrong with St. Louis? The St. Louis Rams, I never in my life would I have thought, as much offense as they put up over the years, and now you got the Predator back there as the running back, that the St. Louis Rams would be the worst team in all of the NFL.
Well, I'm gonna just say this, and it declined slowly, but it's even declining even quicker now. But ever since they got rid of the old man,
Mike Martz,
not only him, but Kurt
Warner.
Warner, St. Louis just started declining.
Yeah.
Because look at Kurt Warner now. He's beating out a young stud up there in Arizona, and he's still putting up numbers.
And he out there playing in 100-degree heat with gloves on.
So
so he cool. You know he's cool.
Yeah, he's cool as a fan.
And like I said, now that St. Louis, they take on Seattle in Seattle. Seattle called Dollar Bill the other day because they need wide receivers bad.
Yeah.
They brought back Corn Robinson. He drove back to camp with a fifth of Jack Daniels and 2 hookers hanging out the window, and they still signed him. That's how bad they need wide receivers. Look for Seattle to run St. Louis right out of the building.
And it's time for them to do that.
And I know we aren't the only one that's going to be watching NFL this weekend. So if you got something to say, give us a hit. 328-8280, UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. Stack Girl Light. G.I. Jane, she's over there texting, getting her posse together. Girl, who you going to pick me up in the back? Or I got to come out in the front. Bring them red shoes I got, not the black ones. You got your outfit set?
I'm working.
Yeah, she working.
Okay.
But Joe,
That's
real
what they
quick,
call it today, huh? Working.
But Joe, real quick,
Work it, girl. Work it.
before you get off the NFL, I just want to say, give props up to Jay Cutler because that cat, I don't care how they won the game, Jay Cutler is, as far as what I've seen, is the strongest throwing quarterback, and not only strong, but his consistency. He's cocky, he's confident, and he's doing the job.
Well, you talk about Jay Cutler, and that brings me to one quick issue in the NFL, and then we're going to jump into some baseball. What's up with the officiating and the instant replay? In that game the Dollar's talking about with Jay Cutler, the Denver Broncos taking on the San Diego Chargers, you had 2 controversial plays. First play, you had a wide receiver, Chris Chambers, running a slant,
Right.
catches the ball, goes to the ground, simultaneous catch between him and the defensive back, contacts on the ground, play should have been dead. Defensive back stands up, takes the ball from the receiver, runs back with it, and what happened? They get a ball to Denver and a touchdown. They then want to challenge it and find out that the instant replay machine is not working. How in the world can you have a game with multi-million-dollar athletes and multi-million-dollar teams and organizations and the billions of dollars that you have paid by Fox and NBC and ESPN and ABC for these games, and you can't find one monitor to show you a replay as to what happened on that play? The second play that happened, the tight-shirted referee, Ed Hockley, as we talked about earlier, Jay Cutler drops back to pass. They're down 7. He goes to throw the pass. The empty hand syndrome happens where he throws the ball. The ball already popped out of his hand before he released it. Should have been a fumble. San Diego recovered. The game should have been over with. San Diego should have had the victory. But Ed Hockley blew the whistle prematurely, and he's supposed to be the best official in the NFL.
And you know what? But here's one thing I'm gonna give Hockley credit on. He knew he made a mistake, and he not only apologized to everybody, he went straight to the coach. He says, "Coach, I made a mistake." And he's answering all his emails. He made a mistake, so it's not, you catch some cats to where they don't care. Well, right. The whistle's blown, that was a call, forget about it, it's over with. But on his, he even said after the game, he drove in his car on the way home, he stopped at this convenient gas station, he went in there and started kicking the machines. He was just so upset at himself because he knew he blew a call like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it bothers you.
Right.
So on his part, I know.
Well, I mean, you can give him credit for being a stand-up guy and admitting to his mistake. But the thing I'm saying is that they've emphasized over the past couple of years with instant replay to let the play itself out. Don't blow the whistle prematurely. Just let the play out, and when the play dies, then you can go back and review it. That's the purpose of instant replay.
But Joe, you an official. Sometimes it's not, you blow on reaction as far as how, and we both make mistakes when we referee.
Right.
Sometimes you just blow the whistle because, bam, you see, like when you see a foul, even though it may not be a foul, you just, okay, it looked like a foul, but it, really, right. Then you walk back down the court, it really wasn't no foul after you really looked at it.
And then you go back
so
down.
it's things happen, man.
Well, things happen, and like you said,
but he's getting paid the big bucks, so he shouldn't make no mistakes like that. He's getting paid the big bucks.
Because it's all about that money.
You know what I mean?
We ain't talking about no Pee Wee football game.
Right.
We're talking about the NFL where people's careers can be affected by one call.
He's a Super Bowl official.
There you go, and he wearing them extra medium shirts. So we just have to watch what's going on with Ed Hockley. Well, before we get out of here, we got about 5 minutes left in the show. We got to talk about Major League Baseball and what's going on with the Chicago Cubs. Go, Cubs, go. The magic number in the National League Central is 2.
It's deuce. And, they should wrap it up by this weekend just like you said. But I'm going to tell you this, and I also been watching these cats in the American League East, Tampa Bay Rays. Mm-hmm. I'm still thinking that it's going to be a different kind of World Series this year with the Cubs and Rays. Some teams you ain't seen in there in a long, long time.
Right.
People ain't gonna be used to it because the Rays, man, are young and cocky and confident and I'm telling you, the Red Sox, they just doing their thing.
The thing about the Red Sox, like you mentioned, they just hang around. The Red Sox have now taken on, to me, the persona that the Yankees had in the mid-'90s, where the Red Sox, they're not concerned about what happens in April or May. They know when we get to winning time, which is in September and October, they will be here. And what has happened? Red Sox are there. They're only a game and a half behind Tampa Bay. But going back to the Cubs, I think the Cubs' destiny was set the other day. Cubs losing 6-2 to the Milwaukee Brewers, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Might as well say the game was over with. Brewers going to win the series 2 out of 3. Ramos Perez hits a double.
On the air. It shouldn't have been called. 2 outs. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th.
And here's the stat, the reason why I'm bringing this up. The Cubs are the worst team in Major League Baseball in terms of scoring runs after 2 outs. And what happens? They go from a 6-2 deficit in the 9th inning to a 6-6 tie and extends the game to 12 innings.
But that Giovanni Soto, man, he's a beast.
Is he not the Rookie of the Year?
And he is. And, he reminds me. I mean, even the way his batting stance is and the way he swings, he reminds me of a Pujols, man. He reminds me of Albert Pujols every time I watch this cat.
Well, I think a couple things. With that being said, Zambrano throwing the no-hitter a week ago against the Houston Astros. Ted Lilly coming right behind him, throwing the one-hitter against the Astros. Now, people can say, well, the Astros, Hurricane Ike, and, they had to get displaced from their home. But to come back-to-back on some pitching performances like that, and then for the bats to wake up when they go home to Wrigley, it just seems like everything is gelling for the Cubs. I know a lot of them anti-Cub fans out there, Cub haters who are going to say, something's going to happen, whether it be in the divisional series or the championship series or even in the World Series where the Cubs are going to fall off. I don't think so. I think they've got enough pitching with Harden, Dempster, Lilly, and Zambrano.
Yeah.
Those four right there will be your rotation. You got a quality starter like Jason Marquis who will go to the bullpen. We won't have to worry about seeing Bob Howery in middle relief because you're going to have the fifth starter, Jason Marquis, sitting out there in bullpen. Kerry Woods has bounced back phenomenally this year as a closer, and Carlos Marmol, when his ears are bent down and the ball is in his glove, he's throwing the slider, throwing strikes.
But he scares you, though. Kerry Woods, I don't care what.
He loves drama.
He just, come on, man. Nobody out, man, on second and third, and he pitches up 3 pitches and 3 ground balls.
Right.
And one's a run down, and the other 2 was ground ball. He just makes it. He just makes everybody on the edge of their seats.
Well, Kerry Woods loves a flair for the dramatic. He just can't go up there and get 3 guys, 1, 2, 3, and close the game out like you expect a closer to do. So I don't think you're going to see this happen. Now, before we get out of here, one of the things I want to talk to you about, because, back in the day, man, we used to, it seemed like every 2 or 3 months, we was watching boxing. There's a fight coming up this weekend that, nobody's even talking about.
Yep.
Roy Jones Jr. takes on Joe Calzaghe. Are you going to watch that fight?
Yeah, if somebody buy it, I'm watching.
You got the same attitude I got.
If somebody buy, we can even watch it at my place if everybody want to put in some money. But as far as me just, punching everything,
no more of them days of buying the fight.
Roy Jones got a lot of our money, man.
And that's why I'm asking the question, because right now, me and you and a few other fellas need to get on the airplane and go to the fight, not to watch it, but to go to his dressing room before the fight and say, hey, Roy, you owe me about $300.
And I think Kawasaki, you talking about a consistent puncher where he don't get tired and he's always swinging.
Right. And that's why Roy Jones, I love Roy Jones to death. When he was in the pinnacle of his career, there was nobody better. But after he got put to sleep a couple times.
So if Roy Jones knocked Kawasaki out in a couple rounds, then you're going to be back?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, first of all, Roy Jones ain't going to knock Kawasaki out.
Well,
let's be real with this right now.
Well, I think the fight's going to be, and I'm telling everybody right now, the fight's going to be, and that's where we all got to get together. And I don't care nobody say this dude's a warrior, De La Hoya and Pacquiao. When they bump heads
in December,
it's going to be ugly.
It's going to really be ugly. I agree with you on that. But like I said, the Roy Jones, Joe Calzaghe fight tomorrow, if you get it, give me a call or give Dollar Bill a call.
I'll be there.
We'll be there because, like I said, we're not spending.
Drinks.
We'll have the food and drinks. We'll bring it for you. We ain't going to do anything else for you. Now, we just got a minute left in the show. I just want to tell you once again, as we say every week, we want to appreciate anybody who sits out there for the 60 minutes and enjoys what we do here on UPTV Channel 6. Because of the love you've been able to give us, you can catch us now every other Sunday on WCFN. That's Channel 3 on Comcast Cable, Channel 49 on your DirecTV. So you can catch us this Sunday.
6 o'clock.
Myself, Dollar Bill, Big Wayne, and Bundog all be on there, 6 o'clock, WCFN. So if you want to see us again, 30-minute show, you'll be able to check us out. From myself, Dollar Bill, Stat Girl, Light, G.I. Jane, and you got your ride set up for the night?
Peace.
Security, security, security. Big Jason and the gang back there.
Hey, right on, Big J.
We love the fact that you guys do this for us every Friday night. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. We'll be seeing you. Boy, when you get that onesie that you got on.
You need to quit.
So you're head on down to.
Yeah, Charlotte, blowing my phone up, man.
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Like, man, give me the time. Give me the time.
Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15%